Warning, this review contains content that may not be suitable for children. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hello there, my friends of questionable historical accuracy. Arlo here, and today we're reviewing Wolfenstein 2, The New Colossus. This is another big AAA Bethesda port for the Switch. So, the question is the game gut or schlecht? Google Translate, you better not have just made me say a dirty word in German. Whoosh!
Just remember, my boy, it will end better than it began.
Wolfenstein 2 is set in an alternate universe where the Nazis won World War II and conquered America, and similarly to Fallout, technology was much further along by that point, giving the old-timey world a futuristic edge. You play as BJ Blazkowicz, aka Terror Billy, and fight to take the country back from the Nazi scourge along with your freedom fighter friends. Much in the same way Bethesda's two series, Elder Scrolls and Fallout, share the same DNA, Wolfenstein shares a lot of its DNA with Doom, also much as it did way back in the day. Note, considering their similarity and the fact that they're both Switch ports by Panic Button, I'm going to be comparing them a lot. This game feels very similar to Doom, and as such, the gameplay is a joy. Firefights are fast and furious, the controls are smooth, and there's a really nice leaning system that helps you fight from behind cover. I love a game where the different guns feel really unique, and this game delivers on that front, offering a lot of great options for different situations, including the option to dual wield for some extra firepower. Most scenarios allow you to either go in guns blazing or sneak around and take out guys one by one, but to be honest, the stealth feels a little tacked on. I can get behind stealth in a lot of games, it's just an alternate playstyle, but in this case, straightforward combat just feels like the way to go. Like the only rewards for being sneaky seem to be spending more time and having less fun. So I basically always just jump into each fight like a crazy person. I'm pleased to say that the game utilizes gyro aiming if you so desire. I've never used it before in a first-person shooter, I didn't try it out in Doom, but it's gonna be hard to go back after this. Bigger movements with the right stick and finer movements by moving the controller slightly. I'm awful at shooters, but this makes me far more accurate. I just love it. My one big complaint concerning the gameplay is that it's hard to tell what direction you're being shot at from. Most games let you know where you need to turn with like a little indicator, but here sometimes you'll just sit there taking hits and spinning around like a nincompoop until you die. Pretty annoying. Very surprised they didn't do something to fix that. You can find weapon upgrade kits to give your guns some great extra features like more ammo or quieter shooting or piercing. You can upgrade yourself too with perks, but instead of requiring XP or certain collectibles, each perk levels up when you meet a certain requirement in combat. Getting headshots, stealth killing, killing with grenades, all sorts of stuff. These all add to totals, and reaching thresholds makes you stronger in those areas. It's a little hard to see the differences these make on the gameplay, but I love the whole the more you do, the better you get system. It's based purely on how you play, and it tailors to your style without requiring you to dig through skill tree options. In addition to weapon upgrade kits, these maps are jam-packed with collectibles. Readables like newspapers and logs, gold, star cards, concept art, toys, and records. It's a completionist's dream come true. My problem is there's such a staggering amount of stuff to find and very little of it accomplishes much, so I never really feel encouraged to spend a lot of time hunting. It's so daunting that I know I'll never have the patience to find it all, so I only do the bare minimum when I search. And that's partially because compared to Doom, Wolfenstein 2 plays out much more like a traditional shooter. Doom had these big environments that you're free to explore, so hunting down secrets is a lot more fun, especially considering everything feeds into your upgrade system. Later in Wolfenstein 2, you do gain the ability to return to earlier levels to pick up stuff you missed, but overall the structure feels much more linear, more often than not moving you along a straight path and constantly blocking your way back. This further discourages me from wanting to run through again and again just to find stuff. It also makes the overall feel of the gameplay a little less satisfying than Doom, but despite my love of adventure-style games and my general disinterest in more traditional shooters, Wolfenstein 2 has an ace up its sleeve. Its world, story, and characters. I guess that's 3 aces. Whatever. This alternate version of history is really interesting, and while the game can be over the top and incredibly funny, it can also offer poignant insight into the horrors of war, the brainwashing effects of the propaganda machine, and the large-scale Stockholm syndrome of a nation under tyranny. It features an impressive number of cutscenes, and all the characters are exquisitely acted and animated. It's really the characters that sell the game. They've got all these silly and interesting personalities, and as with any well-written game, show, movie, whatever, the largest focus is on their development and how they interact with one another. Even the main character, who on the surface might just look like another meathead shooter protagonist, has a lot of emotional depth and breaks a lot of the standard tropes we've come to expect. It's a touching game, yet the exaggerated craziness and the emotional aspect are never at odds with each other. That's a balance that can be really hard to strike with any medium. Between levels, you run around a giant submarine, which acts as your base of operations, and there's a good amount of stuff to do here. You can unlock and complete side quests, try your hand in the shooting gallery, or use the Enigma machine to hunt down enemy commanders. Most importantly though, It's still all about those characters. Everywhere you go in this ship, you'll overhear interesting conversations, and there are new ones each time you come back from a major mission. A really big chunk of my total playtime was spent here, just walking around and listening. The fun exchanges never seem to end, and it's all a joy to take in, even if I found myself running from end to end of the ship trying to figure out where I'm supposed to go more often than I like. In the end, the campaign ended up being way meatier than I originally expected. Even ignoring the collectibles, the story takes a good long while to get through, and it's beefed up by a ton of optional missions. There's a really satisfying amount of content here, and the multitude of difficulty settings mixed with a handful of in-game choices for you to make mean the game will easily keep you coming back for more. And of course, let's talk about performance. Like Doom, Wolfenstein 2 is a seriously impressive port job. Unlike Doom, however, at least when talking about Doom at launch when I reviewed it, not sure how it is after the updates, Wolfenstein prioritizes frame rate above everything else. Gone are Doom's, slow motion sequences. The frame rate drops are surprisingly infrequent, and significant drops are straight up rare. And that is, of course, at the expense of resolution. The game uses an adaptive resolution, meaning the pixel count drops as needed in order to keep the gameplay fast and smooth. This means that in smaller environments with less going on, like the submarine, things look pretty darn good. The game's got a great art style and the environments are richly detailed. When the action gets heavy and/or the environments get big, however, that resolution takes a nosedive. Outdoor locations in particular can get extremely fuzzy. I'd be lying if I said that it didn't hinder my enjoyment of the game. It can be pretty gross to look at sometimes, and more egregiously, it can sometimes be difficult to see enemies that are shooting at you from far away. And if there's an atmospheric effect like fog or something, forget about it. This whole problem is cranked up to 11 in handheld mode, where the resolution can dip so low that you're looking at something of a muddy mess. It's still playable, absolutely, but if I'm honest, it does just push me back toward the TV every time I try to give it a go. Playing this game in handheld mode is just not something I really want to do a lot. Doom made these same sacrifices, but its more open format and more useful collectibles made it better suited for casual handheld play, in my opinion. Wolfenstein shares a lot of the same elements, but its lesser focus on exploration and more linear structure mean that the draw to play on the go is lessened considerably. So then the question is it worth playing on the Switch? For me, since I only really wanted to play it on the TV anyway, I probably would have been better off just getting it on my PS4 or my PC. The performance would have obviously been far superior, and thus I would have enjoyed it more. However, if all you've got is a Switch, then, well, it's absolutely worth playing on your Switch. The compromised performance does not change the fact that Wolfenstein 2 is just an overall terrific game. I didn't know what to expect going in, but what I got was an extremely fun shooter that was obviously crafted with a huge amount of love. The only thing that really bums me out about it? That I didn't play New Order first. The story was perfectly easy to follow without playing New Order or any of the previous games, but I constantly felt like I was doing myself a disservice by not already knowing these characters. And you bet your bratwurst that after finishing this review, I'm heading straight to Amazon to pick up the New Order Old Blood combo. I'm pleased to give Wolfenstein 2: The New Colossus a 6 out of 7. Thank you for watching, my friends. If you've been enjoying this game, be sure to let me know down in the comments. And before you go, fun fact, I come from a universe where it's pronounced Wolfenstein.